Michigan's short track racing authority is Horsepower Happenings.
Charlie Bauer, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Scotty Thiel, welcome to Horsepower Happenings.
John Beach, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Adam Terry, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
Paul Pelletier.
Corbin Hazlett, Riley Knoll.
Matt Kemp, Dylan Stovall, welcome into Horsepower Happenings.
From pavement to dirt, modifieds to sprint cars, hear from drivers, promoters, track owners, and many other industry leaders.
We worked on that car for 12 days straight, and when I got to the Speedway Saturday, I was out of gas. I had to take a nap.
You're out there and, you know, that groove, if you're outside of it, you could be a couple tenths off or even half a second off.
It is not the shock that you've won all these races. You know, I mean, there's so many pieces to the puzzle to make these cars go fast.
I don't care what he says. I saw a thing on Facebook on somebody's post that's now been deleted that one of his crew guys said that the spotter told him car low and I wrecked him.
With over 50 years of experience from racing to management, here are Zach Heiser and Rich France.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome into Horsepower Happenings. Great show lined up for you tonight. A pair of first-time guests will make their appearance. Connor Landis, Brody Hose coming up. But first, here's some things that are happening in a Mark News Minute. In the world of NASCAR, the Truck Series was in action at Indianapolis Raceway Park over the weekend. Lane Riggs found his way to victory lane. Saturday, the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series saw Carson Quapple go to victory lane, a full circle moment for Dale Jr., very viral clip going around of him sobbing on national television over the win. And on Sunday in the Cup Series, Heim time yet again. Corey Heim in a part-time schedule grabs his second win of the season in the NASCAR Cup Series. And elsewhere, Giovanni Scelzi picked up the high-limit racing win at Port Royal Speedway in the 40-lap Bob Weichert Memorial. Aspire Motorsports' first high-limit win and their first National Sprint Car Touring win. The USAC National Sprint Car Series is underway with their sprint week. However, tonight's event at Circle City Raceway has been postponed to Tuesday, July 28th. Elsewhere, how about the PDC, the Prairie Dirt Classic with the World of Outlaws from Fairbury Fairbury Speedway. Brandon Shepard wins his fourth Prairie Dirt Classic over the weekend. Those things and so much more happening tonight on Horsepower Happenings. Good evening. Welcome in. I'm Zach Heiser. Rich France joins me from across the way. What's going on, sir?
Nothing. Last week was a busy week, wasn't it? Wow.
You're telling me something I already know, my friend. Wednesday night, Owasso Speedway. Thursday night, Ionia Fairgrounds. Friday night, I-96 Speedway. Saturday night, Crystal Motor Speedway. Sunday, Sunday, we took Sunday to catch up on some personal stuff. So it was a very busy weekend.
Yeah, I was at Owasso Tuesday and Wednesday. Actually had Thursday in between, and then it was Friday, Saturday, and then you know what I do? My
golf league.
Chase a little ball around on Sunday.
Yeah.
So then today get to sit down with you guys. So it's great.
Somebody asked me yesterday, they said, "You look exhausted." I said, "It's been a long week." And they said, "And it's getting ready to start over." I said, I know. It's fun. It's the heart of the season. There's a lot going on. Okay, as you said, last week, our weekend of racing started on Wednesday. Masters of the Pros 200. And fun fact, Rich, before we kind of dive into the way the race played out, there's not a whole lot to talk about as far as the front of the field, really. I mean, there was good racing, but an American-born citizen never led that race on Wednesday, Rich.
Yeah, well, I mean, Chase Pinsino had a lot to do with that at the beginning, right? I mean, I think Chase Pinsino led 107 laps or something like that. And, and they made the choice to come down pit road and get some tires earlier than I thought the leaders were going to come down. I think it was a lap 88 caution. And I was like, well, they can all make it on fuel now. We weren't concerned about that. But they changed those right side tires and made an adjustment on that 14 machine, and it just was never the same after that.
Yeah, and so that handed things over to Kyle Steckley after the restart. Now, I do want to say, Steckley, yes, he went on to lead and went on to win, Rich, but what about Tyler Lupton? What a performance out of that young man. He was feisty. Blake Rowe was feisty even after damage to the race car. Shout out to Chase Berta. No front clip on that machine. I think he unofficially ends up as the hard charger in the event after the pileup near the midway point of that race. But Tyler Lupton, I think he was very impressive on Wednesday.
That kid, and I told Jonathan Ramos this on the broadcast. I said, if you saw him we went back there and we talked to him for a little while. If you saw him and just back there in shorts and a t-shirt, you wouldn't pick him out to be the race car driver on that race team. I mean, he looks like he's ready to sit down at a chess or checkers game, to be honest with you. And he's got the youngest looking face. You see it throughout the pit area. But man, he can wheel a race car, can't he, Zach?
Yeah, he did a really nice job. And it's kind of interesting. Both the Harvick cars, you talk about pit strategy and making it on fuel. A lot of question marks around what Keelan Harvick and Michael House were doing with that 62 machine.
I think Michael House took one for the team on that by saying, because there is no way in the world that they weren't supposed to come down pit road with the rest of the field. I don't know in what other world that strategy works. Maybe, because there were still 13 or 14 cars still on the lead lap, which means that on the next caution, if nobody goes a lap down, he has to go to the back of all those.
Right.
And he's going to put 2 tires on and drive through the field. I think that was a mistake. I think he was probably supposed to come down pit road, and because he was the lonesome dove following the pace truck around when everybody came down pit road, even the lap cars.
So Kyle Steckley goes on to win. Dominating performance for him, Rich. First-time winner of the Masters of the Pros 200 at Owasso Speedway. Good race, I think. Just the one real pile-up, a couple of caution flags, which you're going to have with that amount of money on the line. What's your take from the broadcast booth?
Yeah, we get the ability to see the replays all the time while we're broadcasting, and the fans can't see the replays. But it just, yeah. Did Tyler Lupton miss a shift? Yeah, sure looked like it, because he was hung out in no man's land and they were splitting him, and Blake Rowe got into the back of him, didn't expect him to miss a shift. So, and Blake Rowe tore that machine up. And then when he went to the bottom, everybody stacked up top and bottom. I think there were about 8 cars that got piled in on that deal. And nothing really happened to Tyler Lupton. His car was just as good after. And then got to give a shout out to Blake Rowe and that race team, that 71 race team. He came back out without a hood on the car, and then they fixed that up. And on the next caution flag, when he went down pit road, they put the hood back on it, and he drove up through that field with a tore up race car. I thought Blake Rowe did a great job.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations where if you just look at the results on CRA-racing.com and you look at where they finished and where they started, you're not going to get the whole tale. I hate it that when race fans do that and say, there was no passing or whatever. You got to go watch the whole race. Kyle Steckley from 4-1. It's going to say that Blake Rowe went from first to second, and that was it. There's just so much more to the story. Tyler Lupton rounds out the podium. Chase Pinsino, 4th. Keelan Harvick, top 5. Billy Van Meter, rather clean day in 6th. Dan Leake, 7th. Kevin Harvick struggled to that race car, finished 8th. And just again, more love to Chase Berta. He was out of the car. They pushed it back into the center of the racetrack. We interviewed him. Day's over. He's dejected. It's over. No shot at anything with the Masters of the Pros 200. And then all of a sudden, by the time the race is back underway, the 18 car is out there. Somehow or another, finishes on the lead lap and finishes 9th. In what I can only describe as, for those NASCAR fans who remember the 1990s Mark Martin car going around Daytona, that's pretty much what it looked like. No front clip on that thing, and he was doing his thing. So, nice
I
job
think what helped him, there was on the restart, quick caution came back out.
Yeah,
they were already working on that car, and so they're running around on that second caution flag. No laps had been added to the books. And they're saying, you should probably get back in this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Good job. Congratulations to Kyle Steckley and everybody there with the Masters of the Pros 200. CRA Pro Series back in action Friday night, Rich, from Birch Run Speedway. So right back into it, right back in the state of Michigan coming up this Friday. We'll talk about that a little later on in the program. Saturday night, the Race for the Million Winged 410 Sprint Cars rolled into Berlin Raceway, Rich, a double feature event. Feature number 1, worth money and championship points. Feature 2's format was withheld from the drivers. It was a surprise. what feature 2 format was going to be right until the day of. Feature number 1, Jake Trainer. How about that? Feature number 1, Jake Trainer goes to victory lane. He picks up a big payday and some championship points. Feature 2, though, kind of stole the night, Rich. Cody Swanson had the feature apparently locked up. It looked like he was going to go to victory lane. And then all of a sudden, JoJo Hellberg, his car starts coming on, starts getting faster in the second half of the race. And with 4 to go, Hellberg decides, you know what? If you're going to leave the outside open, I'm either going to take the lead and win this race, or I'm going to wreck this race car trying. And that is what happened. He went around the outside of turns 3 and 4, passed Cody Swanson, and went on to win feature number 2. Swanson finished second in both of those features. Colton Bettis rounded out the podium in feature number 2. And feature number 1 winner, Jake Trainer, he had to start on the tail, Rich. And if he would have been able to go on to win feature number 2, it would have been a $50,000 bonus. Instead, he got $1,000 per car that he passed. And after passing 17 cars, Jake Trainer still left there with over $47,000. So
not too shabby.
Not a bad night at the racetrack for Jake Trainer, huh?
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And got to have some fun with these races. It can't be all structured so much. I mean, they threw about everything they could add at these guys in this race for a million at Berlin, and it had to just be entertaining for the fans.
Yeah, it was a good night. Other sprint car racing going on this weekend. Naturally, I'm going to make sure we talk about it, Rich. We talked about the Ionia Free Fair last week with Justin Ward putting Max Stambaugh in the car. Thursday night, it came right down to 2 of the best Great Lakes Super Sprints drivers and 2 of the best Great Lakes Lightning Sprint drivers. Max Stambaugh ends up going to victory lane, survives a late race restart to hold off Dustin Daggett. Justin Ward and Chad Listerman locked in a battle. Justin, the final podium on Thursday. Speedway, a fantastic show. $5,000 on the line. Zane DeVault from 8th on the grid, Rich, races his way up to the front. Dustin Daggett led early. A flat right rear tire crushed his chances of going back-to-back at I-96 and winning $5,000. Handed things over to Darren Nida and Zane DeVault. Nida led on the restart. DeVault, well, let's just say that DeVault and Darren, they went to White Castle for a little bit, exchanged some sliders back and forth across the table before Zane DeVault finally went to victory lane. Darren Nida finished second. Max Stambaugh third. Horseman fourth, and Devin Doby rounded out the top 5. Move on from Friday night, head to Crystal Motor Speedway on Saturday. Less money on the line, but still a lot of bragging rights. And oh yeah, by the way, racing for a championship right now with the Great Lakes Super Sprints. Just 7 races left, Rich, after the weekend for the Great Lakes Super Sprints in championship contention. And Saturday was one of those features where if you just look at the box score, you do not get the entire picture. Zane DeVault, he brought the field around many of those laps as the leader. He rolled from the 4th starting spot. It did not take him long to get to the front of the field. But Rich, with just a handful of laps to go, he encountered some lap traffic, gave him a little bit of a trouble. DeVault loses the top of the racetrack in turns 1 and 2, tries to keep his foot in it, does a 360 coming back onto the racetrack, can't keep the car rolling. Tough break for Graham Huffman, who was running inside the top 5, nowhere to go, launches that thing over the top of 1 and 2. Both drivers were able to continue, but Rich, it handed things over to Sheboygan, Wisconsin's Scotty Thiel, who returns to GLSS in the Home Pro Roofing number 51. Thiel leads. He's banging the cushion, looking good up top, but then all of a sudden, Chase Ridenauer and Phil Grassman find some rubber in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Both of those drivers committed to the bottom in 1 and 2, while Thiel banged the boards all around the racetrack. And Ridenauer, coming to the white flag, passes Scotty Thiel coming out of turn 4, using the rubber, able to hold him off in 1 and 2, takes his line away in 3 and 4, and Chase Ridenauer picks up his 2nd win of the season, holding off Thiel. Phil Grassman from 10th to 3rd, Max Stambaugh from 12th to 4th, Dustin Daggett 5th, Devin Doby from 15th to 6th was the operating engineer's 324 hard charger, going up 9 spots. So 2 fantastic shows over the weekend for the Great Lakes Super Sprints.
I was starting to get nervous that you weren't even mentioning in that reel the 71H.
Just a quiet performance, Rich. And I tell you what, that quiet performance, everybody, me included, I think the narrative kind of, set itself. Chase Dunham's leading the championship points out of Canada. Chase Dunham's still the championship points leader after this race. Chase Dunham's still the, championship point. What's going on with Max Stambaugh? Rich, as we sit here on Monday, July 27th, Great Lakes Super Sprints Tour Division Championship is separated by 3 points. Max Stambaugh leads over Chase Dunham coming out of the weekend.
Wow.
To go with that, the McAllister Cap Michigan Division is separated by 6 points. Max Stambaugh leads Dustin Daggett. Chase Ridenauer sits 38 points back. Dunham is 41 back, and Phil Gressman's 99 back. So the top 5 could all change before we wrap things up Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, not that we play favorites, but I think with those points that you read off, Stambaugh's got to win a race or two somewhere, don't you think, before the end of the year?
Well, Max Stambaugh, points leader, winless. Chase Dunham, second in points, winless. Phil Gressman, third in points, but 273 back, 1 win. Van Gurley Jr., fourth in points, but 595 points back, 1 win. So you want to go to the McAllister, the Michigan division. Okay. Max Stambaugh, your points leader, no wins. Dustin Daggett, second in points, 1 win. Now Chase Ridenauer, third with 2. Ridenauer becomes the only other driver not named Zane DeVault with more than 1 win this season with the Great Lakes Super Sprints. The parity this year is unbelievable, Rich. You quite literally have no idea who's going to go to victory lane anytime we show up right now.
Has anybody won a Great Lakes Super Sprints championship without a win?
That's a great question that I think I'm just going to say the answer is no.
Not if I've gone back 3, 4, 5 years that I know of.
Yeah, I think every year that I've looked, they've had a winner. That championship winner has had a race win.
All right, so Mad Max has to put it in victory lane then, right?
Or Chase Dunham, whoever's going to win the tour. Yeah. So is that the headline? Whoever wins a race first might be your champion.
I mean, you're with them all the time. I would think so. I think so. I think Max has had a rough year. Obviously, I mean, he's usually got a string of wins by now, and I mean, he did a good job. You said 12th to 4th, right? So he's working out of the trouble he gets himself into. But man, it's just, I mean, from 12th, that's hard to win a race from back there with who you got to race up front,
And so look at the remaining schedule. Who do you think goes to victory lane next? Eldora Speedway, crapshoot. Let's just be honest. That's a complete crapshoot on Saturday night at Eldora. Then you come back the following Friday as we get into August. Friday, August 7th, back at I-96 Speedway. Chase Dunham has been fast there before, does not have a GLSS sanctioned win there. Max Stambaugh, of course, has a few, I think 4, if I remember correctly. Then you head to Silver Bullet Speedway on Saturday, which they're going to rename Max Stambaugh Speedway because he wins there all the time. He loves going to Silver Bullet Speedway, so you kind of lean toward Max. Hartford Speedway, that's the home of Chase Dunham's first career Great Lakes Super Sprints win. So you kind of maybe like Dunham. He held the track record there at one point at Hartford. Stambaugh, of course, has won there before. Butler Motor Speedway, Dunham's been fast. Max Stambaugh does not like going to Butler, so maybe advantage Dunham there. Mansfield Speedway, nobody knows, right? I mean, maybe advantage to Max because I think he ran there before back in the day, but nobody knows what Mansfield's going to bring. Millstream Speedway quarter mile. Jared Horseman's my favorite there. Zane DeVault probably going to show up and try to deal some cards there. He likes going to Millstream. So that to me is a crapshoot. Winston, we haven't been there in 3 years. That's a crapshoot. Crystal Motor Speedway has produced a different winner the last 3 times we've been there.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me, I mean, this makes it easy on me. I mean, and maybe I'm not going out on a limb, but I think Chase Dunham and Max Stambaugh are going to get a win. And I think these guys are going to make it exciting down to the last event for you, Zach. I think they're not going to be able to breathe.
What more can you ask for?
Yeah.
What more can you ask for with 7 races to go?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I think, it's going to be maybe who can pick off 2, right?
Oh.
That may be the difference.
So you're saying that the championship winner in the next 7 races needs to find a pair of wins.
I think
Yikes.
so.
Yikes.
I think so.
Big stacks. Okay, we are
If
behind
you want to
schedule.
feel comfortable going into the last race of the year, I think you got to have a couple wins.
Yeah, that final weekend, Winston is a variable. Crystal on Sunday. I mean, I think that Anthony and I said this, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago? Anthony and I are going to be crushing the calculator Sunday at Crystal to decide who's going to be a champion. I almost guarantee it.
Yeah,
So.
I believe it. I believe it. What an exciting end of the season for you guys.
It is. It's thrilling. Okay, we're behind schedule. Let's get to the weekend winners, Rich, which you have put together. And I also put together a short list of Yawn of the Week nominees. We'll talk about that. So go ahead. Who's our weekend winners?
Okay, well, I got some yawns in here. You let me know when I call them off.
Okay.
We're going to start at Kalamazoo Speedway in the template late model. Zachary Maynard picked up the win. In the Outlaw Limited late models, our guest from last week, Zach.
Jerry Pierman.
A
How
yawn,
about it?
maybe? No?
Yeah, yes, Yawn of the Week nominee. Absolutely. I've got him in my list.
And this next guy, maybe too. In the modifieds, Jeff Gannis picked up the win.
I didn't put him in my list, but I considered it. So, yes, I get where your head's at with that.
And then in the street stocks, Jeffrey Town picked up the win at Kalamazoo.
Okay.
Owasso Speedway for the Outlaw Super Late Models, Camp Owasso, for sure. Blake Childers picked up the win.
I didn't have him as a Yawn of the Week nominee because in between his 3 Owasso wins, he struggled. Let's just be honest about that. So I didn't put him in there.
Yeah, it is 3 in a row at Owasso.
That's true. Specifically at Owasso, Yawn of the Week. There you go.
Okay, well, here's one. In the modifieds, David McManus picked up the win.
Same thing, though. You look outside of Owasso, and there's been some struggles for David. So,
well, fortunately for them, they get to race at Owasso, Zach. All right.
Continue.
And then the MCR Dwarf Cars, Stephen Bobeck picked up the win. Merritt Speedway, WoodTic weekend. Late model from the pole, from what I understand, Rusty Schlenk picked up the win.
All weekend. Saturday qualifiers from the pole winner. Friday qualifiers, Saturday big race from the pole winner. So Rusty Schlenk is a Yawn of the Week nominee.
Yep, IMCA Modified, Brody Hose picked up the win, and he kind of had 2 wins in a second. That's pretty close to sweeping the weekend.
Not bad.
Right? Pro Stock, Katie Robinson, she picked up the win there. She keeps winning there. She's going to get into the yawn contest.
Yes, she
I'm
is.
telling you.
Yes, she is.
Factory Stock, Josh Loomis picked up the win in the 4.6 cylinders. Austin Farine picked up the win. We'll go to Flat Rock Speedway for the Street Stock 100. Doug Lidegatt led a bunch of laps. And
is he a Yawn of the Week nominee? I feel like we've said his name a few times this year.
This was 3rd win of the year, and he owns the track record. So I wouldn't say the Yawn of the Week. There were a lot of good drivers. He did not lead from the beginning. It was a pretty good. It was a pretty good battle. This was not a runaway.
Okay, very good.
Figure 8 division, Avery Vanderhoof, his first win of 2026. He was the defending champion last year. And these guys, the Buckeye Buggy Super Series. Have you ever heard of them, Zach?
No, what is this?
Okay, so they are go-karts. And Joe Warner picked up the win. And what they called Flat Rock Speedway their Talladega or Daytona. These guys flat-foot it, they draft, and they slingshot, and they push 2 cars, hook up together, 2 carts, and they get wound up, and the fastest guy is pushing. And then whenever they want to make a pass, they have to drop down and slingshot and shoot by them, and they got to get right back in line and touch each other again. It was a show.
How many carts?
Oh, 13 or 14.
Wow. On the track at the same time?
Yeah, for the feature.
Wild.
Yep.
Wild.
Yeah, it was first time they had ever been at Flat Rock Speedway. I think they're going to get to come back. They put on a pretty good show.
Okay, the only other driver that I put in for the Yawn of the Week nominee is Corey Gum, front-wheel drive competitor at Butler Motor Speedway. He's won 4 of the last 6 there at Butler, Rich. So I've got Corey Gum, Jeremy Pierman, Rusty Schlenk as my 3 this week for Yawn of the Week nominee. If you're watching the show on Facebook, is there somebody else who stunk up the program this weekend? And listen, we're not picking on racers. We're not picking on racetracks. But when you're hot, you're hot. And sometimes it gets a little boring for this media show when we got to talk about the same guys all the time. So we found a way to put a little polish on it. And it's an honor, Rich, if you are a Yawn of the Week nominee. That means you're spanking them, okay? So good for you. Corey
if you're
Gum,
the Yawn of the Week, you're having quite the year.
Drop them in the comments. Who do you think? Corey Gum, Jerry Pierman, Rusty Schlenk. Again, Jerry, Galesburg and Kalamazoo Speedway winner this weekend, and Rusty Schlenk from the pole all weekend to collect his 4th career WoodTic win. Who is your Yawn of the Week nominee. We'll take a break. When we come back, we talk to Connor Landis, who had a very busy weekend and capped it off with a trip to Victory Lane, almost swept the Sunday Slugfest at Corrigan Oil Speedway. That story and interview coming up next right here on the Horsepower Happenings podcast.
It's non-wing 500 sprint car action at Owasso Speedway. This Saturday, August 1st, the 500 Sprint Car Tour and Mel Kenyon Midget Series hit the 3/8 mile oval for a night of raw, old-school, wheel-to-wheel racing. Plus, you'll see street stocks and modifieds join the show for a full night of racing excitement. Gates open at 4 p.m. Racing starts at 6 p.m. Come on out and get close to the action at the Big O.
The Horsepower Happenings podcast is Michigan's short track racing authority. For nearly a decade, Horsepower Happenings has given race fans a chance to hear directly from their favorite drivers, local track owners, and promoters. Horsepower Happenings is the only podcast keeping fans engaged with Michigan area racing for 52 weeks a year. Don't miss the Horsepower Happenings podcast live on Facebook every Monday night at 6:30 and available everywhere you enjoy podcasts. Visit horsepowerhappenings.com and follow on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube.
Think your camper handled the winter just fine? Think again. Every time the temperature fluctuates, drop moisture freezes and expands, turning tiny hairline cracks into major pathways for water. That freeze-thaw cycle is a silent killer for RV seals. If you haven't had a professional roof and exterior sealant inspection this spring, you're likely towing a leak you can't see yet. Midwest Camper Repair specializes in catching that winter damage before it reaches your interior. We're mobile and we check it all from the roof to the floor. Don't let a winter crack ruin your summer fun. Call Midwest Camper Repair today and start the season sealed tight. Call 419-799-1171. That's 419-799-1171. Or visit MidwestCamperRepair.com. Serving the tri-state area from the roof to the floor, Midwest Camper Repair has you covered.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media, and more. Cody Geyer brings more than a decade of experience working with the top brands in short track racing. From individual photos to full race days, social media to PR, KG Media can make your race team, race track, or touring series stand out. For more information, go to marknews.org or visit KG Media on Facebook.
Welcome back to the Horsepower Happenings podcast. It's our pleasure now to welcome in a first-time guest on the program, a last name you'll recognize, get to know the first name too. It's our pleasure to welcome in modified competitor Connor Landis onto the show. What's going on, sir?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, man. Been keeping an eye on you this season, waiting for the opportunity to bring you on the program. And after the weekend that you had, thought it'd be a good time. And actually, looking at Sunday Slugfest at Corrigan was really what I said, okay, we're going to bring him on because I want to talk about that specifically. And then I found out all the other stuff you did this weekend. What a weekend for you, man. Kind of take us from the top. And how does this weekend get put together for you? This is a big commitment to race this much.
Yeah, absolutely. So just at the beginning of the year, kind of circled some new tracks I wanted to try, and got into July, and I seen this weekend coming, and I have some good sponsors on board this year, allow me to race kind of whenever I want. So shout out to them, Dave Brown and Bryan, Ohio, and Max Nyhart in Bryan, Ohio. So looked at the schedule and went, I guess if I took off Friday, I could race all 3 days, and that's what we did.
So where does it start, and how much prep went into this weekend before you got started?
Yeah, honestly, racing 3 times a weekend is a terrible idea. It's a lot of work.
Would not recommend.
No, it's so much work, man. It's like, honestly, a second and a third job. I always tell people it's funny, they say, the cost killing racing. It isn't the cost, it's the work. People don't want to do it. It's a full-time job, man.
So you roll into the weekend. How I guess just let's start with race number 1, man. How did things go?
Yeah, so I got my butt kicked at Kalamazoo. I kind of grew up racing bull rings, kind of the Spartan of the world and the New Paris and Angola too. Obviously not a bull ring there, but I kind of tend to run my car pretty loose, and Kalamazoo, Berlin, they're really abrasive and just kind of chewed my tires alive. And I kind of have about a 5-lap good speed there and kind of fall off. So got my butt kicked there. Went out for qualifying with the right rear on the left rear and the left rear on the right rear. That's the first time. So
whoops.
Qualified second to last, ran about 20 laps and pulled in. So
You know what? That's not the worst thing I heard that happened this weekend, though. I tell you, one of our teams with the sprint cars, and I'm not going to throw them under the bus, but they said, yeah, we went out there with the left rear shock unhooked. So that was why we were garbage. So
Yeah.
that'll do it. How easy is that to do? And when you talk about flopping sides of the tire, I assume there was quite a bit of stagger difference.
Yeah, for sure. So honestly, they had a practice session, and it was about 15 minutes later, they're calling us up for qualifying. So we're making adjustments and kind of scrambling, and you look over stuff like that all the time. So yeah, I was out there and we made a pretty small adjustment, and I'm like, wow, this thing is tight. I mean, we had like negative 2.5 inches of stagger, and I had the wheel turn all the way to the left. It didn't want to turn. So
let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on to
Forget about
Saturday.
Kalamazoo.
Because I love this, because to get Happy back in a race car had to have been something special, right? So so let's talk about what led to getting him back in the race car. And I did read your story, but you got to tell it to everybody else.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, I guess, I don't know how long it's been ago now, but I committed to going to my sister-in-law's wedding, and I really, really wanted to race that Dave Nestor Memorial at Angola. And so I threw out an idea just jokingly and said, I'll pull a Carl Larson and see if I can't find a helicopter to drop me off at the track. And he said, well, why don't I just practice and qualify it, and you can just drive back and race the feature. So that was kind of a funny joke, and we just, that's what we did. So I got there at Angola. He qualified 9th place out of, I don't even remember how many cars. There was a ton, 50 cars maybe.
Oh,
and yeah, so the deal is he qualified it, driver change. I got to start in the back. So that was probably one of the most fun races I've ever had in my life. So
how comfortable did you feel after debriefing with him that you could just jump in there cold turkey and kind of make something happen? Because that's tough to do from the back, even though there's slower cars back there that you can work around. But you did a heck of a job working your way to the front.
Yeah, for sure. The day prior, we tested probably 100 laps, so I was very confident in the car. We always have a pretty good car there, and I wasn't expecting to start in the back. He didn't tell me that until I got to the track, so that was a good surprise. I probably would have just let him race the dang thing if that was the case. So
how was there any chance that he wanted to drive that? Did he try to talk you into it?
No, I tried to talk him into just racing it. He just wouldn't do it. So
okay, so Sunday we roll into Corrigan Oil Speedway, Slugfest. These are, I mean, at least when I was racing, they were a lot of fun. And I didn't realize double features for Corrigan on Sunday. Was that planned? Did you know that ahead of time?
No, I think they changed that kind of through the week. I don't know if they put a poll out on Facebook or whatnot, but it seems to be kind of a fan favorite for them. And actually, it's one of the best car counts we've had this weekend. I think there was 16 or 17 modifieds there. And on the schedule, it was listed 20 laps for the first feature and 25 for the second. And I kind of got with all the drivers and said, hey, look, I mean, 20 laps and passing, they do full inverts too. So passing 15, 20 cars and 20 laps isn't really doable unless you're being crazy aggressive, which no one really likes to do. So we switched that to 30 and 35, and we got after it.
Let's talk about race number one. There at Corrigan. Obviously, you make it to victory lane. Good thing. Love that. How did race number one unfold from the cockpit?
Yeah, well, honestly, it started even deeper than that. In practice, man, we were lost, and even in qualifying, I think I qualified 9th or 10th, which for me there, I'm usually pretty hooked up, and we just worked on it, and finally, it was the last session of qualifying. I thought to myself, hey, why don't we just go back to what works? We kind of got away from it there a little bit. I went through my notebook and looked for a track record setup that I got earlier in the year at New Paris, threw that on, and it was just back to being fast. So
lights out.
Yeah.
Had to cut. Now qualified. This says 8th. And you said there's what kind of an invert was there?
Yeah, so it was a full invert. So I think on the first one I started third row outside, maybe.
Yeah,
fourth row outside.
They've got you listed as 4th actually for for feature number 1. Were you that close?
Yeah, I might have been. I can't honestly remember. After the second one, I kind of just remember that one. I lose track.
You were deep in the second one, right? This says 10th is where you rolled off.
Right.
And, you talked about the level of competition that's there. Aaron Timmerman wins race number 2. You got Jonathan and Jordan Gatton, Matthew Vayner, who is good there, friend of the program. We've talked to him. And those, John Gatton is there too. Those are kind of the ones that stick out to me. This is a tough field to come from 10th.
For sure, yeah, and it's really tough too when they're all your friends. So, kind of coming through the field there, and we all have a ton of respect for each other. The second to last restart, me and Jonathan, we started side by side, and I probably didn't give him enough room, and he didn't give me enough room, and we wheel hopped coming to the green flag there. My toe was kind of all jacked up from there, but we still managed to have enough to get through there.
You talked about New Paris and obviously Angola and then Kalamazoo and then Corrigan Oil. Do you like it? Do you prefer to when you get a chance to get away from the house a little bit to go hit a bunch of tracks, or do you rather kind of stay close to home?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, I just love racing. If we could figure out a way to race 3 times a weekend, it's terrible, it's miserable, but I'd probably do it every single week. So I love to go everywhere, try new things. I kind of got away from my fast setup, trying to find one setup for every single track to make it easier during the week, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So
it's an interesting concept to try that. How big are the swings that you have to make? Has that become your baseline setup? Is that where you start?
Yeah, it's just, it kind of tends to be the smaller the track, the looser and the faster you can run. I kind of take that setup to Kalamazoo or Angola even, and it's just too loose for that track. You kind of got to tighten your race car up a little bit. We can do that with big springs, sway bar, bump stops. I mean, we ain't scared to change all kinds of stuff. So.
I love that. That's a phrase my dad. We ain't scared.
No.
This interview, I want to take a quick second to say thank you to our marketing partner. This interview tonight is brought to you by Sweet Manufacturing. Of course, locally owned and operated. They have been. Michigan Motorsports Hall of Famer Randy Sweet was all about trying to figure out how to go faster, and that's how Sweet Manufacturing became a thing. Built on the knowledge and performance of Randy Sweet's racing history, their name is synonymous with quality, and over the years, their products have become the industry standard. So what sort of things can you get at Sweet Manufacturing? Easy. Log on to sweetmanufacturing.com, and you'll see the list. Rack and pinion, steering boxes, pumps, U-joints, quick releases, sprint car components, steering columns, steering wheels, power steering tanks, spindles, servers, brackets, miscellaneous service components, scratch and dent, merchandise. That's right. You can get Sweet Manufacturing merchandise too. And by the way, as you try to get down to the end of the year, be sure to check out that scratch and dent section, because you'll find some great deals in there. And if you're going to make a big push toward the end of the year, orders over $500 when you order online in the U.S. are free for shipping. Free shipping on orders over $500. Sweetmanufacturing.com, or call locally 269-344-2086. Rich?
Connor, we usually talk to the Modified guys and ask them about this. End of last season was a big deal when the Midwest Modifieds tour. Brian and Bud did a great job with that, right? It was so popular and they brought it a long way, but they just couldn't have the time to do it anymore. A lot of the guys just kind of migrated. They kind of split up, right? We wondered what the Modified series around this region was going to look like. A lot of them obviously we know went to Owasso and Berlin to follow that deal that Jeff Striegel and Rex Wheeler got going. What were your feelings on that? Were you wondering what you were going to do, or did you have a pretty good idea?
No, I pretty much just run the same tracks all the time. I didn't follow that series much. The only thing that really benefited me is it kind of made the rules, straightforward. Every single track kind of had the same thing. They just kind of followed the tour. Right now, the biggest problem is the difference in tires. American Racer versus Hoosier. I really don't care what we run, but at some point we got to get on the same page. That's kind of my only stance on that.
How do you think that starts? I mean, where does it start with the drivers meeting with the promoters or track owners? How does that work?
Yeah, I think the only way it's going to change is the drivers get together and form some kind of group or some kind of standard. I think it'd be a heck of an idea to let those the big companies like Hoosier and American Racer, let's have a bidding war. Whoever produces the cheapest tire, well, everybody should run it up here.
What? So interesting take. Cheapest, but do you care about performance?
So to be honest with you, none of them repeat good enough to race against new ones. Build me some throwaways. I'll buy a set for $400 every single weekend. Way better than $700 to $800, and I say we just all buy them.
Let's go back to the DOT tire.
Sure. I don't care what it is. Black and round, put it on there and make it cheap.
So some questions coming up in the chat. Some of them actually I already had planned on talking about. So we'll get to the first one here. Let's dive into your background a little bit. You've got a last name that carries a lot of weight around these parts. Talk about the Landis name and how you fit into that puzzle.
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up watching my dad since I probably couldn't even walk, you know what I mean? So I grew up watching him. He never really got me into racing, wanted me to do sports in high school and kind of live a normal life.
Your dad is Jack, right?
Yeah, Jack Landis. Yep. He started racing way before he was out of high school. And so basically I graduated high school and he had already built this modified and I jumped in it and kind of fell in love. What's kind of the only way we connect. If you ask anybody about my dad, if it doesn't have 4 tires, he don't want to talk about it. So
now, did you know as a kid fresh out of high school, kind of who your dad was in the racing world?
Yeah, I always tell people he's the most famous and unfamous person you'll ever meet. You go in a room.
How do you mean that?
You could go anywhere in the world, nobody knows him, and then you show up to the racetrack and everybody knows him. So it's kind of funny.
So that's how I got to know him. I mean, I raced Flat Rock and Toledo Speedway, and then I became announcer at Toledo, and I was at the Glass City 200 every year, and Happy Jack Landis would always show up. Man, it's one guy you could count on to always be there, and looked like he was always having a good time.
Yeah, he loves the racetrack. You could see him anywhere in the world. If there's a racetrack, he'll go there. We go on family vacations every year, and we're always trying to find a track to go watch racing. So,
was there any? And I ask Bryce Bozell this, and I ask anybody who is kind of next generation, right? I assume there's a lot of pride in that last name. Is there any expectation that comes with racing as a Landis?
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's done everything and pretty much won everything there is to win. And, every time you strap in the car, sometimes I'll have a GoPro on me or whatever, and I'll always catch myself looking at him or waving at him even when I'm racing. So,
oh, cool.
That's kind of funny. Everything I do out there, I always think of what he would do. So,
how is he involved in your program now that you're an adult?
He's taught me everything about that car. He's taught me. I pretty much do everything now. He'll jump in. Just the other weekend, we were kind of running a little over. We were overheating a little bit. It was run like 230, and we haven't changed a radiator in that race car for 6 years. I hate to admit that, but it's been in there for way too long, and we jerked that out of there. And with that being said, I've never made a shroud before, so he got to build this one. I said, hey, make sure you make this one last another 8 years. So
yeah, for sure. Modifieds being the division that you get in straight out of high school, was it always the plan that that's where you were going to stay? Did you just fall in love with this class and haven't made a change?
Yeah, we don't plan anything. It just kind of happened. We were trying to build a race car, and it seemed to be kind of the most budget friendly car at the time to start in. And nothing's cheap in racing anymore, but it kind of worked out. They're a blast to drive. I've jumped in late models and outlaws, and I just kind of find my way back to modify every time. So,
do you have any inclination or any feeling to follow in your dad's footsteps? And is he done, or can we or was what happened this weekend, is that like the last hurrah?
Yeah, you never know. He'd jump in anything. I mean, he doesn't care. He's like me. If it's got a wheel on it, I'll hold on to it. I don't care.
Have you had a chance to race your dad?
No, I have not.
How bad do you want that?
I don't want that at all.
Okay.
I don't need a reason to argue with him. No.
So it would be ultra competitive.
Oh yeah. Me and him both love to win. It doesn't matter who we race against. We have respect for everybody that has respect for us, and we treat each other just fine. But if it comes down to it, I'll move them out of the way. I don't care.
Yeah, there it is. Well, my dad and I raced against each other a couple of times, and he felt it necessary to remind me that he was the one that had to fix both of them. Well, that didn't help. I mean, that's fine. If you got to fix them both, I don't care what I do.
Right. Yeah.
That's cool that you guys still get to work together and lean on each other, I guess. Is there another generation of Landis coming through?
Yeah, actually, I'm having a baby boy in November, so.
How about
Congratulations.
that? Congratulations. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
You got married in September, I think. Is that right?
Yep.
And so is there aspirations for you as a dad to have this child be in a car, or are you just going to let it kind of unfold?
I'm just super competitive. Whatever he does, I want him to strive to be the best at. So if that's driving race cars or shooting hoops, that's fine with me.
But we're going to win.
Yeah, but we're going to win. Exactly.
We're going to win either way.
I love that.
Yeah.
Connor, man, appreciate you making time to chat with us. Nice job on the win Sunday at Corrigan. Who makes it possible for you to get this thing done?
Yeah, I got 2 huge sponsors that jumped on board this year. If you see my car, it looks way different this year. Brand new wrap. The one side is Doc's Diesel. Anything diesel automotive, filters, brakes, rotors, they sell them all. It's a local company actually based out of Bryan, Ohio. So him, Dave Brown, Brown's Precision and Auto, it's also out of Bryan, Ohio. The best on foreign vehicles. If you got anything that needs fixed, replaced, that's the guy. And Lincoln Calvin Trucking.
We got one more question in the chat here as we're getting ready to wrap up. Actually, one question and one comment. Frank wants to know if you plan on racing New Paris this weekend.
Absolutely. I got to get that second Sizzler.
So how big is the Sizzler for the modifieds, right? Like everybody thinks about Outlaws with that event. How much prestige is there for you guys?
Yeah, so they added that race on, I think, probably roughly 5 years or so ago. I grew up every single Sizzler I was there, and for them to put the modifieds out there, it's huge for me. I don't even know what it wins. I don't know what it pays to start, but I want to win it bad. You know what I mean?
And I've never been to New Paris, but all the videos that I see, either from Top Row or whatever, that place looks racy as heck, man. That looks like a fun place.
Yeah, it's super tricky. Both corners couldn't be more absolutely different than each other. It's a wheelman's track for sure. It's fun.
And then the comment that's on here that I think you'll probably want to respond to is some guy, John, with your same last name, says he knows a great tire guy. And that came in as we were talking about Kalamazoo. So,
well, tell John to show up at the racetrack. I might need some help.
There it is. Oh, man. Connor, appreciate it. Thank you so much for making time to be on the program, and good luck the rest of the season. All right.
Yep. It was a blast, guys. Have fun.
Okay, we'll take a break. When we come back, we talk to another modified winner, but not a pavement modified winner. We're going to the dirt side. Brody Hose is coming up next here on Horsepower Happenings.
The Horsepower Happenings podcast is Michigan's short track racing authority. For nearly a decade, Horsepower Happenings has given race fans a chance to hear directly from their favorite drivers, local track owners, and promoters. Horsepower Happenings is the only podcast keeping fans engaged with Michigan area racing for 52 weeks a year. Don't miss the Horsepower Happenings podcast live on Facebook every Monday night at 6:30 and available everywhere you enjoy podcasts. Visit horsepowerhappenings.com and follow on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube.
It's non-wing 500 sprint car action at Owasso Speedway. This Saturday, August 1st, the 500 Sprint Car Tour and Mel Kenyon Midget Series hit the 3/8 mile oval for a night of raw, old-school, wheel-to-wheel racing. Plus, you'll see street stocks and modifieds join the show for a full night of racing excitement. Gates open at 4 p.m. Racing starts at 6 p.m. Come on out and get close to the action at the Big O.
Make sure your brand stands out from the crowd with Madman signs and designs. Flashy, clean, color, or simplistic, Madman signs and designs can make sure your race car, business vehicle, merchandise, or even your iRacing rig looks exactly how you dreamed it would. Get designs that help your brand team, or business stand out from the crowd with the Madman at Madman Signs and Designs. Call 517-647-9573 or find Madman Signs and Designs on Facebook.
Mark News is back. Michigan Area Racing Connection News keeps fans in the tri-state area up to date on national headlines, local results, regional news, and so much more. Home of the Horsepower Happenings podcast, 500 Sprintcast, Gridline Social, Job Bank, Fastlane Images, KG Media, and so much more. MarkNews.org is the one stop for any race fan who needs to know what's going on in the Michigan area. Plus, get the Mark News weekly newsletter sent right to your inbox, FREE free. Sign up today and learn more at marknews.org. Marknews.org, the Michigan Area Racing Connection.
Welcome back to the Horsepower Happenings podcast on Modified Monday, which is what it turned into unintentionally, but hey, it worked out. It's our pleasure now to bring in another first-time guest. He's a WoodTic winner, thanks to Saturday's performance, and Friday's performance too. It's our pleasure to welcome in Brody Hose to Horsepower Happenings. What's going on, man?
Not much, man.
I like your backdrop. That's a
Thank you.
That's a pretty good backdrop, man. We talked about the WoodTic earlier in the show. We kind of focused in on Rusty's performance, which was pole, set the pole, win the race on Friday, be on the pole, win the race on Saturday. And I think there was probably a mindset for a lot of people going into the weekend that Merritt was going to get hard, it was going to take rubber, and Friday I feel like probably was the bigger day to get your performance dialed in and be in a good spot for Saturday. Am I close on that?
Yeah, I would say between that and qualifying, I mean, we laid down a good qualifying lap with help from working on the car all day Thursday and really set us up well. And Friday we qualified good, ran good in our heat race, ran second in our feature, and just luck of the draw, kind of. We kind of thought they were going to do the invert a little different, and it ended up falling our way. And I guess really just stuck with that and just did my best. So, what was the format? What did it end up being? Because we've been up there before where, the odd even races kind of set the inside and outside row straight up. So how did it end up being for you guys? Yeah, so this year, the first time they've qualified the IMCA mods. So that was different. We qualified, they lined that straight up, and then they lined the features, the B feature or the odd even straight up. And then for the A main, they had the fast qualifier roll a dice, and he rolled a 3. So we all thought they were going to go like third place in the odd, third place in the even, second place in the odd, second place in the even, and then first and first. But they ended up going second place in the even, and then first place in the odd and first place in the even, which is 3 cars, I guess, instead of the top 3. Okay, I get it. I see how they got there. Yeah, I understand it. I mean, I think I probably would have done it the other way, but it just kind of fell in our lap, to be honest with you. So Zach and I have been there before, and I've been up there for a couple other events. Had the opportunity to work with the Thoroughbees and do their social media stuff for a couple of them. And this is typically in the modifieds in the past, a Colin Thirlby benefit, right? Yes. Pretty much. And so you start out and you guys start out in the heat races. He's in 1, you're in 3, and you guys win your heat races. You finish second to him in the odd race, right? And if you haven't had enough of him yet, now you're starting on the pole and he's starting right behind you in the future, right? How do you, I don't know, how do you not have to deal with him so much and hold him back? I mean, it's me and Colin are really close. I grew up around Brandon and Colin, and I helped Brandon for many, many years before I started racing big cars. So I know them a lot and just kind of talked and eased my mind and just ran my race and did everything I could, and it just worked out. So when you're out there and you're leading, are you wondering, where is he? Yeah, I mean, it was I'm not gonna lie, the track kind of was one lane and no one could really pass. I knew he would be there somewhere, whether it was third or second or fourth. I knew he was in the top 5, and I knew at some point we would probably see him. We're lucky to hold the bottom, and we had a very good car. I didn't try to push the car much at all. I just knew as long as I hit my marks and stayed on the bottom, as long as I didn't overdrive the corner, we were going to be fine. So,
do you think it's tough? I mean, I've always seen when we were up there. I mean, Mike would have to 3 days in a row, right?
Yeah, it's
he brings that track up every day, but it just by the end it tends to the last day when after you're running 3 days, you're kind of restricted what you have left and what you can do with it.
Yeah, I mean, they're running 600 laps, so you got 20 cars on the track most of the time, and I mean, it takes a toll on the track, and they do try, and I think it's just lack of equipment right now, but they tried. I mean, I don't know what they did between the late model feature and ours or whatnot, or before the late models, but I know after the nights they'd get out there with the grader and do what they could anyway and try to water it. I just think the ground gets so hard and not much you can do at that point.
Well, let's walk through the race as a whole. Rich kind of alluded to it. You start on the pin. You've got somebody right behind you who's really good. But obviously Mitchell Hunt is no slouch either in that 38. And that track is hard. You got to be perfect on the bottom, man. Just kind of walk me through 40 laps around that place.
Yeah, so we take off and we get a good launch and just hit our marks and we get to a lead and Mitchell's right on us all race. Watch the video and he's right there and he's been great all year. He's been really fast. We both had some misfortune luck and he's pulled out and we've been great, both of us. And he's right on me all race and we're just hitting our marks. And we get to lap cars and
we just saw it in the clip too. You guys had a big moment going into 3.
Yeah, we did. I was just kind of putzing there around the lap cars, like quarter throttle, just hold my line on the bottom. And it almost, to me, it looked like the lap car either slowed up or had to slow up, or I just caught him quick out of 2, and Mitchell got a run on the bottom, and I was already entering the corner, setting on my entry, and then here he comes, and we kind of had a little moment there, and talked to Mitchell after the race, and just kind of deal with that's all you can do with the track. I mean, we're both fighting for the same spot, and it's if you go high, you're pretty much out of it at that point. You're falling back 5 car lengths minimum. So we just kind of locked down and touched and just kind of kept going and hope we didn't have a flat. And I know on the last 2 laps, Mitchell had a flat, and I don't know if that was a result from us hitting or tires wearing down. I didn't get that far into questions, but we talked. Everything's good, and just kind of result of a 1-lane racetrack and fighting for the same spot.
You had some cautions in this race too, and in terms of big movers, Bretton DeYoung keeps it clean, goes 16-7. Myron keeps it clean, goes 12-5 plus 7. But really up front, Scott Payton from 5-2 in the 7-11. These cautions that you end up with here late, are you watching the scoring pylon and seeing who's near you?
Not really. I knew Mitchell would be there. I knew Scott Payton would be there. I knew Colin would be there. And I just knew kind of just keep doing what we're doing. We've been good so far, and I think it'll work out, and it did. So
when you get a track like that and you're telling yourself, if I just hit my marks and keep it on the bottom, there's no way that the best car is going to drive around you because is that what you're thinking to yourself? Because there weren't many cars. I don't know where the passes came if they got them on the bottom, but I can't believe many cars made any outside passes.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't. I think the car had a lot more in it than what I was portraying. Once I got to the lead, I knew as long as I hit my marks on the bottom and everything went well, we didn't have no motor issues or no tires go down or nothing like that, we would be fine. So just focus on hitting my marks and not pushing the car too hard and overdriving the bottom or making a mistake. Really, just kind of keep the mistake free and keep trucking.
I want to just
You
go
want to
ahead.
go?
Yeah, I want to take a quick second. I
Yeah,
make
go
sure we
ahead.
don't miss it. I'm thinking about it. I don't want to miss it. I want to say thank you to our interview sponsor tonight. That's marknews.org. And want to say check out the Mark News weekly newsletter. Get online, marknews.org, and sign up for free. It'll come right to your inbox. And now here's the thing, though, about the Mark News weekly newsletter is there's so much in it that your email server is probably going to clip the message. So be sure to check your email for the Mark News weekly newsletter. Scroll through it and go to the bottom and look for message clipped, view entire message, because you're probably missing photos, you're probably missing power rankings, you're probably missing results and columns and all sorts of stuff in the Mark News weekly newsletter. It's FREE free. It's right up there with the Michigan Auto Racing Fan Club best deal in motorsports, Rich. But I don't want to get copyright infringement, so we're not going to say that. But check out marknews.org. Sign up for that free weekly newsletter.
Brody, do you prefer? I always ask the guys because we've talked to a lot of guys whether they race at Crystal or Tri-City or Merritt or wherever. Do you like it when a track gets like that, or do you not care if you get up top and rip the lip?
Yeah, I'm not necessarily a fan of the rubber. I like the dry slick. It definitely brings out the drivers in the track and just lets everyone kind of race around there. And you get 2 lanes and people can move and you can pass cars. But I'm definitely not afraid to get up there and bang the cushion either. So.
Is that what makes Tri-City such good racing? Because it's as far as I go back, that thing has always slicked off later in the night after the late models, and it is like an ice rink, it seems to me.
Yeah, Tri-City gets really dry slick like that, and it races really well for the modifieds. I wouldn't say so much for the late models. Sometimes it gets a little 1 lane for them, but the modifieds definitely race well around there, and I wish we could go there this year. We're kind of going for the IMCA Rookie of the Year, national and regional, depending on how points lay out. But they're not an IMCA track, unfortunately. So.
Well, you just opened the door wide for me and my next question. Thank you for the setup. I'll clean it up here. 2 wins this season, and in an IMCA Modified, you get one done at Crystal earlier in the year. And now this one at the WoodTic. This is your first year in a modified, right?
Yeah. We're in a pro stock last year, and we got a good deal on this modified here, and chassis we wanted, and got the support from Colin, and we've had a good year. We've been fast. We've just had some unfortunate luck, and between the Dan Soleil and this race here, we were off for 4 weeks with motor problems. So.
Oh, yeah. So that's great point out. I didn't even think about Friday, June 19th at Crystal Motor Speedway, that being the Dan Soleil. Could you win a normal race?
I don't know, man. We've had good luck
and WoodTic as your first 2. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, we've been really close on normal nights, and we've been fast. Just the stuff has fell our way in these big shows. The Dan Soleil was the prelim night.
Sure.
I felt like we had a good car on the Thirlby Throwdown night, the first night. Felt like we had a top 2, 3, maybe even winning car. Just really luck didn't fall our way, and had some misfortune. And then the last night kind of got rubbered down like Merritt did, and we redrew the 5, so kind of put us behind the 8 ball there, and just kind of rode around for 40 laps. So.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say you're from Houghton Lake, so you know the history of the WoodTic.
Yeah.
How huge was it for you Saturday? Like, is this a bucket list thing to get that win?
Yeah, for sure, a bucket list thing. It hasn't really even set in yet. I mean, we're sitting here, got the car, we've got work to do, but just kind of really been taking it all in these past 2 days, and it's starting to set in. I mean, probably the biggest win of my career, and will probably be for the next couple of years, if not my whole career. So.
You know what? I think it was cool. You said you knew the Thoroughbys real well, and I want to know what part of you. It's like from the frying pan into the fire. You run pro stocks, and you're gonna race. In the past, you race against the rolling trophy case and Nate Murphy, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's and then, man, this year in the past couple of years, Katie Robinson's been really wiping things up as well. And you say, nah, that's enough for me. I'm gonna go race against Colin Thurlby.
Yeah, we had that pro stock, and it was actually Nate Murphy's old car that we bought. So we knew Nate pretty well and raced against him a lot. And then Katie wicked it off last year, started off last year really good. And yeah, we just got a deal on this diamond car and couldn't pass it up. So we put the deal together and went down to the Clash, and we had a ball and just kind of kicked things off and been rolling from there.
And it's funny that you relive the Clash and you say that you had a ball, because if you look at your My Race Pass results, it looks like it was a hot mess down there. What went on, man? What was going on?
The first in practice, we were good in practice. First laps in the mod were awesome. Next night we start like fourth or something in a heat race, and we're passing for third, a transfer spot, and the car in front of me loses it a little bit and spins out and get in a wreck and destroy the front end of the race car. And we welded it back together on the beach the next day. And
we go
to Deep South. We go to Deep South, and it's that place is wild. It's big, it's fast. There wasn't too much passing there. There was a little bit. You could get guys here and there, and we just didn't draw the best there. I think they do like the first day is like 1 through 50, second day is like 50 through 100. So you get 1 day from the low, 1 day from the high, 1 day from the low, 1 day from the high, and we drew 45 out of 50. And then the next day we drew 89 out of 100. So
creepers. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
I want to elaborate a little bit. You said engine issue after the Thurlby race, because you raced basically 2 months consecutive, going back to April, and then all of May and almost all of June with the Thurlby issue. Was the target to be able to come back by WoodTic, or did luck just have it that way? Like, what happened to the engine? What was that process?
So yeah, we race a bunch. We try to get out every single weekend and do what we can. We travel a bit here and there, and yeah, we ran good at the dance sleigh. The last night we got a pinhole in the radiator, and I don't have a pressure gauge, which I fixed that, and I do now, but got low on coolant, and the motor never said it was hot, but I ended up burning up a head gasket, and we called around. We could have got it fixed a little sooner, but we wanted to do it right, and everyone's going to a new spec motor, so we figured we would get on that train now, and we took it down to Mullins Race Engines, and they had a really quick turnaround. They told us the time frame, and they hit it, and we were just glad to get back racing. And
what can you tell us about this new engine too? Because I had heard some rumblings about it, and I am pretty ignorant to the IMCA Modified rules. So what is going on with this new spec motor? What's the details, and why is everybody going to it?
Yeah, so the crate motor, it's good. It's repetitive. It's really simple. It makes it easy, but you can't open it up. So like if we had our head gasket problem, we could have took it to a local engine builder like Joey Fowler or something like that, and had the head gaskets redone, and would have been a lot cheaper and quicker, and the spec motor, you're able to open everything up and do what you want. I think there's a cubic inch limit, and they got to have some parts in them, got to be certain parts, but other than that, like, you can go change head gaskets and stuff like that.
Is this slipping the IMCA Modifieds into an open motor rule?
Kinda. I mean, the 2-inch spoiler, people don't realize how much that really makes a difference. You get rid of that, you lose it, especially on the dry slick when you need a little bit more traction and stuff like that. And people get carried away with the open motor. We're racing on hockey pucks. I mean, you get too much horsepower and you can't really do much. So the spec motor is a good happy medium, and we got a good motor program now with Mullins, and everything's going great. And this thing was really good this weekend. So
talk to me about this IMCA Modified class throughout the state of Michigan. 7 or 8 years ago, I would have said there's no way UMP is going to take it over. Well, where's UMP? Butler. That's it, right? Yeah. How good does that make you feel? Where you, like you said, you're running for Rookie of the Year. You have choices now. You don't have to go to 1 or 2 racetracks.
That was the big thing with the pro stock, is we wanted to get out and travel and see new tracks and learn on the newer tracks and just kind of build a racing program as a whole. So we got in the modifieds, and the competition is amazing everywhere you go. I mean, the top 10 cars could win at any given night. It's just crazy. Car counts, some places are a little down, but other than that, it's pretty nuts. You can go you can travel all the way out to Iowa, Wisconsin, Florida. You can go pretty much anywhere and race. I know the guys out in Iowa are racing 5 times a week sometimes, so it'd be cool to see that around here. I know we don't have enough tracks, but
it looks like, is that why car counts are down, because there's so many tracks that run the IMCA Modifieds now?
I believe so. Yeah, you got so many tracks and there's a lot of cars here. People are a lot closer to some places and not so much others, and it kind of holds them there. So,
couple of comments from Facebook land before we let you get out of here. And some of them are kind of reiterating what we talked about too. Oliver Hilliard wanted to know if at any point during the race you considered moving up the track to try it out. Which you know what, I'll give him some credit though.
Can I answer this one for him? Hell no.
if you're a commoner fan though, and no, I don't know if we can bring up one of the clips, like turn 3, if you look up there, it looks like there is a little something that you could lean on. It's just dirty getting up to it. How do you guys decide that there is just no way to roll momentum around the top?
yeah, so 3 and 4, I seen a couple guys roll in the middle a little bit and holding their own. And really, I can thank Brandon Thurlby on this one. He came up to me right before the race and said, do not get your butt off the bottom. If you get off the bottom, you are not good. So it just really thanks to him. And he kept it in my mind all race that if you miss the bottom, you're going to get passed. And that's going to be the end of it. So.
All right. Other questions. Oliver has a lot of them. We should have had him on as a guest host. He just, first of all, said, what a way to bounce back from a very unlucky trip to Florida and then winning 2 big races locally. He says, after 2 big show wins in Michigan, will we see you at Super Nats?
We'd like to go to Super Nationals. I think we're gonna hold off this year. It's a big trip out there and a lot of racing. I think we're gonna try to get out to Batesville for, they got a big 30 grand race, and we're going to try to hit that one probably. And I don't know. I don't think Super Nationals is in the book for this year. Maybe next year or something, but I want to experience at least once. So,
do you get any sort of invitation for if you were to be the regional rookie of the year or anything like that?
I'm not sure on that. I know they do like the fast shaft races. So if you win one of those, you get an invitation to the All-Star race. I'm not sure on the rookie of the year stuff though.
Well, and you told us earlier in the show that's something that you're gunning for. I guess new to the class, are there some bucket list things now that maybe change? You know, I think it changes when you're in different divisions, what you'd like to go race and where you'd like to go and where you'd like to win a race. Where would you like to take that modified, and what is a race that you'd love to win?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to win one at the Clash on the Coast. That's going to be a bucket list. I know we got speed. I don't know if we're good enough to do that one yet, but there maybe 141, they got a big race over there. It's 10 grand to win, and if we could pull one off at Batesville, that'd be great too, but I don't know if that's in the play. But yeah, just big tracks like that locally. The WoodTic, I never thought we'd get it the first try, but
done.
The Dan Sleigh, I definitely want to win the big show at that one. That one means a lot to me. So maybe the Great Lakes Nationals. I know that's a big race, so we'll be there.
I'm looking at this car behind you, and I see graphics with names on them, man. Yes. I know you don't do this by yourself. Give a big shout out to all the people that made it possible for you this week.
Yeah, Forbes Construction, J4 Concrete, JD's Custom Painting, Thurlby Automotive, Lakeland Recreation, Holiday Sand and Gravel, Steve Hose Drywall, Eddie Thurlby Motorsports, D&N Towing, Kevin's Custom Builders, Zach Builders, Be Cool Radiators, Fox Plumbing, S&S Collision. Man, everything one that helps us out. It's amazing, and we definitely wouldn't be able to do it without them.
Well, Brody, congratulations, man. 2 wins, career wins in IMCA Modifieds, one of them in the Dan Sleigh Memorial Qualifier night, the other WoodTic main event winner this season. So that's awesome. We're going to keep an eye on you here, and we'll probably have you on the show multiple times moving forward. I can almost guarantee that. So congratulations, man. Nice job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, we'll take a break. When we come back, Rich and I take a look at the upcoming calendar of events, tell you where you should be this weekend. Some races that you do not want to miss are on the calendar. That's coming up straight ahead here on Horsepower Happenings.
Think your camper handled the winter just fine? Think again. Every time the temperature fluctuates, trap moisture freezes and expands, turning tiny hairline cracks into major pathways for water. That freeze-thaw cycle is a silent killer for RV seals. If you haven't had a professional roof and exterior sealant inspection this spring, you're likely towing a leak you can't see yet. Midwest Camper Repair specializes in catching that winter damage before it reaches your interior. We're mobile and we check it all from the roof to the floor. Don't let a winter crack ruin your summer fun. Call Midwest Camper Repair today and start the season sealed tight. Call 419-799-1171. That's 419-799-1171. Or visit MidwestCamperRepair.com. Serving the tri-state area from the roof to the floor, Midwest Camper Repair has you covered.
It's Non-Wing 500 Sprint Car action at Owasso Speedway. This Saturday, August 1st, the 500 Sprint Car Tour and Mel Kenyon Midget Series hit the 3/8 mile oval for a night of raw, old-school, wheel-to-wheel racing. Plus, you'll see street stocks and modifieds join the show for a full night of racing excitement. Gates open at 4 p.m. Racing starts at 6 p.m. Come on out and get close to the action at the Big O.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media, and more. Cody Geyer brings more than a decade of experience working with the top brands in short track racing. From individual photos to full race days, social media to PR, KG Media can make your race team, race track, or touring series stand out. For more information, go to marknews.org or visit KG Media on Facebook.
Welcome back to Horsepower Happenings. And Zach, it's now time to take a look into what's going on this weekend. And I'm going to start things out because I know I'm going to be here on Friday. If you thought you liked the Match of the Pros 200, well, the Turn 1 CRA Pro Series is back again this Friday night at Birch Run Speedway. The Turn 1 CRA Pro Series, Van Dorn Racing Development, Dixie 100. And modifieds and street stocks are going to also be in action, and this is pretty cool. All the officials from the Turn 1 CRA Pro Series has kicked in, and we've bought some bikes that we're going to give away to some of the fans at Birch Run on Friday night. And also qualifying kicks off at 5:30 for the mods and the street stocks, 6 p.m. for the Turn 1 CRA Pro Series. Heats for the mods and street stocks will go off at 6:30. At 7 o'clock, there'll be an on-track autograph session for the Turn 1 CRA Pro Series. Pre-race ceremonies at 7:45, and then the Dixie 100 green flag at 8:15. As for tickets, Zach, single family packs along with VIP packages are available for Friday night. All of those options are available at different levels. Go to birchrunracing.com for the one to find out the one that you want.
All right, coming up on Saturday night, Silver Bullet Speedway has another late model extravaganza, Rich. The Dirt Car UMP late models roll into Silver Bullet Speedway for the second and final time this season. Another $3,000 to win affair is slated. Again, Silver Bullet Speedway, Dirt Car UMP late models, plus Michigan Street Stocks, Road Warriors, IMCA Modifieds, and Mini Wedges. Pits open at 4, gates at 5:30. Racing scheduled to start Saturday night at Silver Bullet at 7 p.m.
Then let's move on to Saturday. This is a pretty cool deal. Flat Rock Speedway, their 75th anniversary kickoff. And what they're doing, Zach, is they have invited any driver that has won a feature event to come in, and they're going to be acknowledged. This could take a minute at Flat Rock Speedway.
I suppose.
Yeah, it could. And also the Arca Menard Series East, Sunbelt Reynolds 150 as well. And who's going to join them? The Outlaw Super Late Models and the Figure 8. So heck of a show on tap on Saturday at Flat Rock. Gates open at 4 p.m., racing at 7. Tickets are still available at flatrockspeedway.com.
Yeah, I want to back up to Friday one day, if we can back up just for a moment. The All-Star Circuit of Champions, after taking their quite long midsummer break, they will be back in action Friday night at Hartford Speedway. So I want to give our friends Tim and Leah Dibble a shout-out over at Hartford. They'll be back in action on Friday night with the All-Star Circuit of Champions and Cyber Stocks. Pit gates at 4 to get things started. General admission gates at 5 o'clock. And racing set to begin usually somewhere around 7:30 there at Hartford Speedway. So that'll be this Friday night with the All-Star Circuit of Champions.
Man,
I know. That's just a exhale, right? I mean, we're rolling into August, man. We're going to be in August this weekend. So
yeah, and then I mean, what we got 3 or 4 weeks, and then what we get into the big special events, right?
Yeah.
You got the Glass City 200 coming up, Fall Nationals at Owasso, and then we get into Winchester and Nash. I mean, man, this season is flying by, Zach. I'm telling you.
It's ridiculous how fast the year has gone by. Championship night. We're 7 races away from crowning a champion with the Great Lakes Super Sprints.
Yeah, with you guys. So enjoy it while you got it, man. The weather's still nice.
I know. Yeah, we'll see what we can get away with this Saturday. Hopefully, family fireworks night Saturday at Eldora Speedway for the Great Lakes Super Sprints. Things don't look great right now, but it's been a summer of looking terrible all week, and then you wake up on race day and go, oh, maybe there's a chance. So we'll see what happens. And
it's not been consistent, right? Any place that you thought was going to rain out, that you could drive less than 2 hours and go to a race that didn't rain out. I mean, it's just, that's the way it's been. And that's pretty cool. So
yeah, it's been all over the place. Okay, I want to say thank you to Connor Landis for being on the program. Of course, Brody Hose for making his debut as well. Thanks to all those who commented and were a part of the live show on Facebook. Be sure to be a part of our live show, 6:30 p.m. on our Horsepower Happenings and Mark News Facebook pages. Who was your yawn of the week, Rich? Out of those 3 that we had, Corey Gum, Rusty Schlenk, or Jerry Pierman, who's your yawn of the week?
I think we got to go with our boy Rusty, right?
You're going to go with Rusty? I'm going to go with Jerry.
Is he going to get mad at me? Because he's going to say, I had to work for that.
Nah. Yeah, you go with Rusty. I'm going to go with Jerry Pierman. Winning again at Kalamazoo and Galesburg Speedway, sweeping the weekend. I'm going to go with Jerry Pierman as our yawn of the week. So there you go. Okay, that's going to do it for our program tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in. Spotify, iHeart, Apple, YouTube, Pandora, Amazon, it's everywhere. So thanks for going back and listening to the show, and we'll talk to you same time, same place next week right here on Horsepower Happenings.
You've been listening to Horsepower Happenings. The views and opinions expressed in tonight's show may not directly reflect that of Horsepower Happenings. The contents of this program may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or disseminated without the express written consent of Horsepower Happenings. Follow Horsepower Happenings on Facebook, Instagram, X, and all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, and Pandora, to keep up on what's happening.